Listen, man, I ain't gonna waste no time. I've been glued into the Diddy trial, man. I've been telling y'all this for months. I said, hey, when this trial gets started, I'm all ears. This is the biggest celebrity of probably my lifetime ever. This nigga discovered Biggie, Faith Evans, The Lox, fucking 112. He dominated music for most of my childhood and teenage years, and hell, even college, not college, but my adulthood and all damn near
since the 90s.
Yeah, since the 90s. So
destroyed some career.
I'm definitely tapped in. So this week we had day one of the trial. Pretty much been a week of testimony. The only people who have testified so far have been one of the escorts, Cassie, and they started on Don.
The security guard, too.
Security guard, and they started on Don. Who's security guard? Puffies?
No, the security guard from the Intercontinental Hotel.
Oh,
where the
he
meeting
did
took
testify.
place.
He did testify.
Yeah.
And at this point, the prosecution is examining Don. And they will pick that up on Monday, but we won't be able to report on it for a couple weeks, but that'll be picked up on Monday. But the trial started with open statements on Monday. The first witnesses, I already did that. Days 2 to 5 was all Cassie. What else I got here? Appearing in court has been her husband for Cassie. And Diddy's children came to court. His mom has been in court. His daughters have not been back to court, have they?
Not since that first day.
Not since that first day, yeah.
Once
They left early. I think that shit was hitting too hard. Yeah. They were like, we can't handle this shit.
Some things that came out, I think, in this trial so far, I think have been it's been a graphic trial, but my thing is I'm more concerned about in this trial is how do they prove what he's here for? He's here for sex trafficking. I think is that the only charge? Racketeering and sex trafficking are his charges. That's what he's here for.
I feel like there's a third charge too. But
I feel like it's a third charge too.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but
and these sentences carry a lifetime sentence. If accused of all counts, it's a lifetime sentence. And so that's what they're here, and that's what they're trying to prove. I'll let y'all start.
Oh shit. Well, yeah, we have been looking forward to it. You're right. It's been graphic. I'll start with that. The reading of the text messages, emails between him and Cassie. Cassie's recounts of the nights that she was getting beat, the nights that they was drugged up, and both sides are trying to tell their side of the story. So it's even like when the prosecution is talking to Cassie and the escort, they're trying to paint Diddy a certain way, and then when they do the cross examination, like Diddy got some really, 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 really good lawyers.
Yes,
because as soon as I'm thinking that the prosecution got something going on, it flips. As soon as they start doing a cross examination, I'm like, oh, they killed him on that.
That's why I wanted you to start. Do you feel that the cross examination for Cassie? Did you feel like they did a good job in making her seem uncredible, raising reasonable doubt to the relationship? Do you think they did a good job at that?
I think they did because it's still, when you got a heart, it's hard to look at it and be like, damn, like he really was like an evil person and forcing this girl to do these things. But especially when they was reading the emails and text messages of her showing that she was in love with him. They asking her, were you in love with him at this point? And she's like, yes. And then I think today they even asked her, does she hate him? And she said no.
I think more so how is a jury seeing this? We don't know the age of the jury. We don't know who's on jury. Everything. We don't know much of anything but what we're hearing. And so I'm looking at this like there's so many nuances to coercion, to abuse, to all of this. Like, well, something I was saying this week was, because just speaking about how this may look to the jury, I was speaking about like if the jury is older, I think the defense did a great counter.
Yeah.
But if the jury is younger and they understand the nuances of sexual abuse, sex trafficking, coercion, then they understand that although she may have been in love, that doesn't mean she wasn't abused, or that doesn't mean she wasn't trafficked. But then also I heard this. If we're trying to prove that there's a sex trafficking ring, and I thought this was interesting, DJ Envy brought up on the radio, wouldn't she be second in command? Because when you're looking through these text messages, he's arranging, she's arranging. She's saying, hey, I want to freak off. He's like, cool, set it up.
Yeah.
Then he's like, hey, I'm trying to freak off. She was like, shit, I'll set it up. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? When we get into these text messages, it's like, if I'm a juror, beyond a reasonable doubt, is he guilty of running a sex operation just him alone?
No.
Okay.
You know?
So to clarify, before we go too far, there are 3 federal charges. So
Dope.
it's racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Between 2004 and 2024.
Definitely gonna
And
get
what
that
they're trying to really charge him with, or what they're charging him with, is that he sexually trafficked 3 women, controlled them via physical and emotional abuse, paid them and others to keep quiet, and supplied all alleged victims with a host of drugs to keep them compliant. So the text messages, yes, it can show like, okay, she also helped plan this, but in the defense, if the ball is in the defense court, they're going to use that to say, this is how he kept her compliant. This is her being compliant as an abuse.
You mean prosecution?
The defense. Her no, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Prosecution will say that she was just compliant because she had been abused for, this is 20 years. So after so much time, we know that he has a tendency of taking her phone, taking her passport. He controls everything she does. After some point in time, you just want to keep this person happy. So I think the text messages kind of work in both the favor of the defense and the prosecution.
Yeah, I thought it was a 50. Like after cross-examination, I thought it was 50-50. I looked at it like it's really in the hands of the jury. It's really, how does the jury see the information? Does the jury see it with the nuances of how this is defined as abuse, or do they see it how they see it? You know what I'm saying? Like a 70-year-old woman to look at this and say, well, she wanted that.
Yeah.
A 20-year-old woman will look like, nah, that's not right.
That's not what she wanted. Like,
Yeah.
and I think it's the one thing that I will say. I know they were talking about on Diddy's defense. He has a former sexual assault.
She's the one that did the questioning to Cassie.
So she did it all the whole time.
Yeah, that was her question to Cassie.
Okay, so for like that, I think that it's important. First and foremost, it's important to acknowledge all that's being shared. Like, that's a lot for anybody, and she's pregnant. Like, that's a lot for someone to have to
Relive.
Very detailed, relive what happened. Try to answer as straightforward as possible. At this point, there's no such thing as embarrassment or whatever. Like, she went through a lot to get to this point. So it's a heavy conversation as is. But I do think you are correct. It really does depend on the jury when it comes to certain aspects. And I think these text messages is one of those things that it's a jury coin toss.
It really is a 50-50. This is a 50-50 trial. I heard some of the beginning questions with Dawn, and they're still harping on her proving that Cassie was abused, which I don't think we have to. I mean, we could keep proving it. Like, there's no doubt about she was abused. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no doubt about that. That girl was abused. That girl was beat. That girl was fucked up for over 20 years. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think the most shocking...
hooked on drugs.
Yeah, hooked on drugs. I always knew Puffy was on Booger Sugar, but that, like, the confirmation is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, the confirmation alone is like, damn, I always knew he was a drug addict, but fuck. Like, because you can tell by how amped up. He's always amped up. You know what I'm saying? He's always fiery. You know what I'm saying? You don't never really see him calm down.
Yeah.
Brother love.
Yeah, bro. Tripping. I remember that scene. I don't know. I think it was when they was following Diddy around on MTV one time, and he was throwing shit in his office. And like, I'm like, oh, he might have been about to go do a freak off before that.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
One thing that shocked me was the details.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, what was the most shocking thing?
Freak offs, bro. First of all, 60. What they said? He was getting paid. The male prostitute was getting paid $6,000, anywhere from $700 to $6,000.
And I was like, I heard 4.
Yeah,
I mean, 6,000 is great. But
yeah,
4?
I think 4,000 is what I heard.
Okay, 4,000, whatever.
Yeah, that's a lot of money in the early 2000s.
Nigga, I'm showing up with about 6 24 packs, nigga. I know that
24
shit.
packs of what?
What you showing up with, my nigga?
Water.
I'm about to be pissing all day, nigga. Fuck that shit. What's the little shits that go on your back?
The tank, the water tank,
nigga,
the turtle shell.
As soon as I'm putting it in, I'm putting it out.
Nigga.
Fuck that. I'm trying to get paid.
Nah, yeah, I forgot about that. That was the
shit.
first shocking thing was the PP thing.
Woo.
But honestly,
That didn't shock me.
niggas is freaky.
True.
Niggas is freaky.
First
but
of all,
it's just I thought it was gonna be a whole bunch of gay shit. But now it's just like, oh, this nigga just into some sexual shit.
I think it was some gay shit going on because she said she was blacked out. She woke up. Him and somebody else was going at it, but it was a man.
I don't remember that part.
Nah, she didn't say that.
Man, yes, she did.
I mean, we have transcripts. She didn't say that.
I could have sworn she said that.
Nah. Okay, I'll start on one of my weird things is the male escort said he comes into the room and Cassie there, but then he see a man in the corner with a bandana over his face,
Yeah.
and a fitted hat on. He said he knew it was Puff.
That was the first encounter.
Yeah, that was the first encounter. And then the next thing that really shocked me was when she said she would have to take the nigga semen and put it on Puff nipples.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That shit
I was
was
like,
wild.
bro, that's kind of like, now that's kind of like weird shit.
Bruh.
Cause you ain't no way you can get off on that.
Bruh, as
Maybe
a grown,
the thought of it might get him off, but even then, ugh.
as a grown ass man, what does nut on your chest do for you, bro? I just want to know. I'm
Rich
sorry.
niggas do
What-
rich
What does
shit.
that do for you?
Listen, niggas is sexually, because I listen to shit like Horrible Says.
Yeah.
I know sexually
Yeah,
people
there are a
can
lot of
be
kinks
in.
out there.
There's so many things that people in sex. Like, none of the details shock me but the blood. That's the only thing that got me. It was like, and I guess because I'm mostly, I don't know, I'm not entertained by it in a way of, oh, damn, this nigga freaky. I'm entertained by it more so like, damn, you mean to tell me this girl was on her period and she couldn't get a night off? Like,
Nah.
you're a monster. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
like this nigga's a real life monster.
And
you
that
gooning
alone,
for sure.
That detail alone for me shows that how degrading he was towards her.
Yeah.
Because as a
that's-
woman,
that's gooning.
that's the last thing on our mind. That's the last thing we trying to do. That's the time we trying to be coddled and get quiet.
and then the defense goes and says, yeah, you was on your period, but you initially, like, to be the asshole to have to question her to say, yeah, you was on your period, but you was with the shits. Like, I would hate to be the asshole that has to question Cassie about abuse
Yeah.
to make her look away. Because it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
But I,
Yeah, that's tough.
You
Because
getting
it's-
paid
it's
$10
a-
million, you gotta goddamn do what you gotta do.
It's
but-
a double-edged sword.
I wanted to talk about the freak off. I wanted to talk about the video because the video is funny. That's the only part to me now that's funny because I replay the video in my head different now because of the details. Because the nights leading up into the video, him and Cassie have been talking about having a freak off. And so the day that video was captured in that hallway, there was a freak off. She was trying to go to a movie premiere. And so since she was trying to get to the movie premiere, she didn't want to be fucked up from the freak off. She wanted to make sure she looked good. I think in one of the stories, I think in her testimony, she said she had already had a bruise.
Yeah.
So it sounds like these freak offs can get a little physical, like there's some BDSM involved. And she didn't want to be messed up even more. So the fact is, in between rounds, she left that room. So this nigga is getting out the shower, coming into a room full of men with no woman, like, where the fuck is my girl at? Like, enraged. Like, you're seeing, like, his rage when shit don't go his way. Like, nigga, we said we was freaking off. Yo ass trying to get up out of here and go somewhere. You ain't going nowhere. Get back in this room and finish this freak off. And it's like, golly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that's what happened that day. Like, and remember, we were told, man, bro, he was in the shower and then they got a little too. No.
No one fucking knows. That's another thing.
And I
about this
love how
trial.
everybody had their
No
ideas.
one knew shit. That's all that influencer shit y'all spit y'all 2-3 minutes watching them give y'all a breakdown of shit that happened. We ain't heard none of that shit. Y'all was Justin Bieber not involved, Usher not involved.
Like, none of these niggas.
Cuba
Listen,
Gooding.
The funny part is we have a play-by-play transcript, Which shout out to the nigga that's in that courtroom typing
it's a
this
few
shit
niggas
word
doing that
for
shit
word.
good. Yeah.
And I think the press dude on Twitter, he did get
Interpress.
he got a letter.
Yeah, that's the guy I've been following in
but he got a
Secret
letter
Service
from the
Sam.
judge today.
Oh, for real?
So we'll see Monday if we're gonna get the play-by-play.
Oh,
for
man,
him.
fuck that judge.
Did get a letter,
man.
yes. Y'all can see it. It's the last tweet he tweeted out. But shout out to him. We can see word for word what's happening. Then I get on TikTok and see the interpretation for the people who don't want to read.
Right.
Niggas is throwing all kinds of smoke in the TikTok. I'm like, bro, that's not what she said today.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's why I only follow Secret Service Sam. That nigga keeping
Secret
it
Service
real.
Sam is good. Secret Service Sam is good.
He had to raise some money so he can get back to the courtroom. The nigga said he paid somebody $250 to stand in line for him to get in the court.
If he paid
$250 a day.
but if he's paying $250 a day, imagine what he's making.
Oh yeah, he probably making bread.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. You paying somebody $250 just to stand in line for you, and he said it's about a 12-hour wait.
Yeah, man, I can bet.
But-
This is just week one.
Right. Maybe
But,
Meek Mill and them niggas will come into it later, but I doubt it. I feel like Cassie was there for everything, and she ain't mentioned none of these people.
And then also, we have to prove that there's a sex trafficking ring. In order to prove there's a sex trafficking ring, I need specific people who could testify to that. I don't need people who came to a party to have a good time to testify to
Yeah.
that. I need people who could testify to abuse, coercion. I need people who could testify to money exchanges, where things were, where things have been hidden. Matter of fact, they had one of the special agents who've been investigating the case. She took the stand today. Then you got Dawn, because Dawn can prove more on the abuse. Then you got Aubrey coming next week as well.
Yeah.
I can talk about the abuse.
I'll
I
be
think-
sure supposed to be there.
Now, Al B. Short is supposed to be there. He said that though.
Oh, so they ain't mentioned it.
They haven't mentioned it.
That's
So,
the one I'm waiting on. 'Cause me and my mom was talking about that.
I thought about that when I looked at that video after the pod next week. If they put him on the stand, the defense is gonna fry him.
Definitely.
Who, I'll be sure?
I don't think the prosecution puts him on the stand because the defense is gonna fry him up.
What you mean?
When they talking to Mike.
Oh,
When
what
they
you mean?
when they cross-examine him, they got so much, like, he has so much shit on the internet. He has motive to say the things he says.
Okay,
He's
I
not
see
gonna
what
be
you
a
mean.
credible witness for the defense. It's gonna fuck him up.
Yeah, that's true.
But you know, like, so I didn't know all this. But pertaining to Al B. Shore, he used to date Kim Porter. They got a son together.
Yeah.
And the son is the little light-skinned dude that be with Diddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the way my mama was spending it, because she all up in this, but we talk about this frequently. And she was just saying that he somehow, when he started dating Kim Porter, he just took custody of the young boy. Just
He did.
But they were saying, like, it wasn't, like, I guess, sanctioned. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Probably
so-
was. Nigga rich.
But I guess after a while, the dude, Justin, made up his own
I think
mind.
it's Quincy is the son.
Or
that they
Quincy,
got.
whatever
Yeah.
his name is. But he made up his own mind and he stayed. But it was a couple times that Al B. Shore reached out to him.
He
Was
did.
like, you got a father, you know what I'm saying? Like, come home type shit. So I just feel like if he do take the stand, even if they do fry him, it'll be a little bit more personal between him and Diddy.
And you can't have that in a court case.
True, but I am interested to see what he got to say.
Get that nigga in the interview.
They might not call
I'm
him.
interested
get
to
that
see
nigga on
what
the
he got to
defense.
say.
The one person the defense is gonna call is Cassie husband.
What? They are?
Yes, yeah, he's gonna be. The defense is calling him, and it's
Wow.
got something to do with that night that she said she got raped.
Yo.
Because she was still that's when she had started. She was dating him already.
she was dating him.
Yeah.
Yo, do you think that mentally affects somebody if he didn't know that? If he didn't know that, and I'm assuming he didn't know because they saying he walked out the courtroom after this. But if she was R worded, so she was R worded for the audience. She was R worded. Then later on that evening, she got up with him and had consensual, same night.
Yeah,
What?
Yes. So how does that? What now? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you?
That doesn't. I still don't.
No,
see,
not court wise. I'm taking it off court. If you're the husband in that scenario, and if this is the first time you've heard this information,
I think he knows.
you think he knows?
I
Yeah,
think he
I
knows.
think he knew everything.
He knew a lot. He knew everything. But even her having to relive it,
Reliving it is hard.
you know that part breaks her because she probably had to tell him at some point.
Yeah, the
'Cause
lawyers
remember,
probably
she
told
wanted-
her to prep him.
Yeah, she
Okay.
wanted to, right, and they do that for spouses. She wanted to talk about this before, there was a settlement. So she brought this up before it became a trial, so to speak.
Yeah, she apparently had a book.
She was supposed,
Yeah,
allegedly,
there
was a book. So I think Alex was aware. Shout out to him because he has been her number one supporter. I did like that he came out and said that she saved herself. A lot of people have been saying, "Oh, he's a savior. He's this," and he's like, "No, she saved herself. She spoke up for herself. She healed herself. I'm essentially I'm here as her husband to support her."
Facts.
For me, I think knowing that my person, now spouse, was emotionally, physically harmed in some way at the time that they may have started just dating me, it would hurt my feelings. Not on I wouldn't be mad at the person, at my spouse. I would be mad that they felt they had to go through that. And I will say, fuck every female that was on social media trying to call out and articulate every detail around that night, because she made it very clear that they were having a closure conversation in public, and then she went home and Diddy came to her home
and raped her.
And raped her in the living room.
She said his eyes were black.
And so for every female that was like, well, why they talking to each other in her living room, and first of all, fucking read.
That's women.
There are don't do that.
Sorry.
There are transcripts available. There is a court documentary. It's there. It's just there.
Hold up.
Go ahead, man, because if you missing something, they missing something. Go ahead.
So he went to her home where her husband or her boyfriend was?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just where she was living at the
This
time.
was where she was
okay,
living at.
okay.
She had already started dating Alex. They weren't married yet.
Okay.
So she was essentially living by herself. But she did meet up with Diddy in a public place to kind of like put her foot down and say, a closure conversation. We're officially done. And she said it was after that meeting, I guess later on that night, I don't know the time frame, but later on that evening, he came by her house and assaulted her in her living room.
How did she get back to him to have sex with him later on that night?
What do you mean?
After he raped her, she went back and had sex with him that night. It was the same night.
That was the same night?
Yes.
Yeah, from what I read,
It reads like
the way that they asked her was like, and she said, "Were you raped?" And she said, "Yes."
Sorry, our word. My fault.
Yeah, we done messed up.
We done fucked up.
And she's like, "Were you raped?" And she was like, "Yes." And then she asked her, "Are you sure?" or something like that. And she was like, "Yes, I know I was raped." And then she asked her, "But then you had consensual sex with him later on that evening?" And she said, "Yes."
Yeah, and I think that's what made it. I think that part of the testimony right there.
It makes her look. It questions her.
Like I said, it depends on your age.
I could see how a juror would be like, "Well, she went back to him." But
Yeah.
again, this
it depends on your age.
This is coming from you. I guess you would have to understand, and I'm not asking anyone to understand. You would have to have experienced some form of abuse or assault in any regard to know Stockholm syndrome is real. It's hard to walk away. And if she was with this man doing whatever, all these things that she was doing for 20 years, some things is like, well, let me just go make it better so he won't ever do that to me again.
Yeah,
It could be
possible.
It could be 1,000 reasons.
Like I said, I could see an old person saying, "Well, were you raped if you went back and had sex again?" I could see an older person.
The age matters here. Education levels matter here with the jury. Like,
Yeah,
But I think that's why they're so protective whenever they select the jury. They just like, oh, we selected a jury, then they just move on into trial. They don't
I'm
really give
interested
details.
because I think the jury is older because they said they didn't want the people to have any prior knowledge of the two people involved. So I'm thinking it's either older or either they're younger. They're probably like some Indians or some Asian Americans that don't got nothing to do with the culture.
So, do her and her husband got a baby together?
I think they got two.
Yeah, and she's pregnant now.
Them hers?
Yeah. I think my camera did.
but yeah. So, but that's where we at now. We got 3 more weeks of testimony. Well, no, we got 6. No,
Six
seven,
more.
7
And the
more.
defense
6 to
got to
7.
come up there and do their thing. So that'll probably be in like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. So next, Cassie is done. That was the star witness. She's got to go have her child. That's why she was questioned first. She is pregnant. She's close to her due date. They had to get it out the way. So now, hopefully that, I mean, for if you want justice for Cassie, hopefully that doesn't age in these weeks coming with the jury. Like, hopefully they don't forget this testimony. Hopefully it stands out. Hopefully the arguments from the prosecution in the closing are good. Another thing I heard, just because I'm trying to wrap this up, they say they might want to bring somebody in to speak about sexual abuse to the jury so they can understand the nuances. I thought that was a good idea. All right, man.
Tax dollars, man, going to work. Tax dollars going to work.
Oh, for sure. All right, man. Smokey Robinson, man. We talked about this last week.